This is the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. Here's Rick Ucchino and SP3 on the Bleav Podcast Network.
And a good Friday afternoon to everybody who is out there here on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. It is a pay-per-view weekend. AEW Revolution coming up this Sunday. 8 big matches. Myself and SP3 are here to break them all down. And you know how we do here on Bleav in Pro Wrestling. We do not come alone here for these pay-per-view prediction shows. And joining us here today, Emmy-nominated producer and talk show host. You've seen her on New Japan. You've seen her on the Women's Wrestling Talk podcast and so many other places, including Redacted. Emily May Heller joining us here today. Emily May, how are we doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I honestly could not believe you said yes to coming on the show. I'm a big fan of your work, and I am happy that you are here to break down all that we got to cover here today. SP3, how's it going?
I'm doing well. It's a Friday. We're close to the weekend. We got Revolution this weekend. It's going to be a long night where we go into 3 a.m. in the morning after Tony Khan's press conference. So we'll go right into the New Japan show. Perfect timing.
Are you there? You're there in person? You're going to experience it all?
No, I'm in New York. I'm on the other coast, so I'll be up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. by the end of Tony Khan's press conference. It's at least in where they're at in San Francisco. It's going to end at like 11 Pacific, so that's good.
Yes. And at least Tony Khan, read the situation right and said, hey, maybe we shouldn't have 14 matches on the card this time around when we do a 1-hour Ironman match. So at least we don't have 14 matches to break down, and that would get pretty exhausting.
Can you imagine if they had 8 Ironman matches?
That would have to be 2 nights. That's basically your entire WrestleMania card.
Yeah, that's two WrestleManias right there.
Exactly.
Holy God. For those who are tuning in, we appreciate you stopping by our first ever live pay-per-view prediction show. Typically we record these, but we are live today, so get in on the conversation if you'd like. And just a brief explanation. As you guys know, I don't typically wear the shades on the show today, but daughter gave me an eye infection. I'm not going to subject you guys to how I look without the shades today. So this is the Rick you're getting for the entirety of the show. So here we go.
You look super cool. So
I appreciate that.
And if anyone says anything in the chat, I'm gonna take them out. So
there we go. All right, I love this.
They don't want that smoke, and they don't want Rick to take off his shades, or they'll get the lasers shot at them because he's really Cyclops. It's not Rick; it's actually Cyclops.
And I really love this tiger behind you. By the way, it's very, very concerning but cool.
This.
No.
Tiger.
Oh,
my tiger.
No, there's 2 tigers.
Yeah, that's just my Bengals blanket.
Rick, you do not have a tiger behind you. Don't worry.
Like, wait, what are you talking about? I mean, Stitch tiger, but anyway, regardless. Before we dive into everything here, let you guys start coming in here bit by bit. Got to thank our friends over at Bet Online. They remain your #1 source for all your sports betting needs this season, and we would not be here without them. They got everything from pro and college basketball to UFC, MMA, and more. Get the latest odds, team matchup information, player news, game trends. It is all there at Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head on over to the website today or use your mobile device to join up and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Just make sure to use our promo code BLEAV, that is BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. And we will start right here with the most recent match that has been made official for this card. No holds barred. Jungle Boy Jack Perry going up against Christian Cage, who is back and who is healthy. This is a match that is literally months in the making here, SP3. I thought for a second this might get even darker when Christian is talking about Jungle Boy's father on Wednesday, and then all of a sudden we cut and we see this man digging up a grave. I'm like, okay, whoa, where on God's green earth is this going? Thankfully, it did not go to where my mind went. My mind went to some dark places. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I'm glad that Christian Cage is back healthy. This is a match we were supposed to get back at All Out. That ended up not being the case. Christian needed surgery. SP3, how do you see this one going down?
Well, you said this has been going on for months. That's the understatement of this prediction show. This started at Double or Nothing 2021, ladies and gentlemen. This
Oh,
is
God. Yeah.
almost nearly 2-year story that started with Jungle Boy eliminating Christian Cage from the Casino Battle
Man.
Royale. Then their
Yeah.
partnership, their mentorship, where Christian led them to the tag team titles, and then them losing the tag team titles and Christian turning on Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, turning, then not turning, then turning on Jungle Boy again, and now we finally are here, no holds barred. I think Jungle Boy Jack Perry needs the win. He needs to kind of get away from Christian for a while, and I want Christian to cut promos on other people's parents after this.
I mean, that's some chutzpah, I guess, to be talking about people's parents. I'm just saying. It's getting personal.
Especially one that was a beloved teen icon.
I mean, you're bringing out, like, I don't know how, like, you just don't attack family members like that. Just don't. So it's personal. And again, there's some personal grudges happening, and some there, as you said, the history. And I feel like this is the match we've been waiting for. You know, Jungle Boy needs this win. Jungle Boy needs to make this happen, make that statement, have make this statement in singles competition, because he's always kind of been paired with other people, and we really need to see him shine on his own.
Yeah, and the story of this match, SP3, is going to be, is Jungle Boy finally willing to go the extra mile? It's a no holds barred match. Is he going to be able to pull the trigger and go, cross that line that he has been unwilling to cross, that Christian has taken advantage of so many, like, time after time after time? I don't know how many times you would need to insult my dead father before I would cross that line, but apparently for Jungle Boy, it's at least 28. Does he? I'm guessing he's going to cross that line on Sunday, and Christian's not going to get his opportunity to take advantage.
I think he gets the win with the concerto, and I think we had a big missed opportunity for Christian, because the one thing he could have said is that he was always Team Brenda, and Jungle Boy's dad made the wrong decision by picking Kelly on 90210. Because I'm Team Brenda. I don't know about everybody else, but I was Team Brenda.
Man, I don't know how you can go against Kelly. I'm just saying. That's just me. Just personal preference.
Now we're all gonna have to go back watch it.
That was part
really,
of
it should turn into the 90210 recap show.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best parts of the first season of that 90s show, is when they spoofed 90210 on the show and nailed, like, all of those characters. That was absolutely one of the best parts of that whole series. But I got Christian Cage is losing this damn match. He's losing this match. Jungle Boy's going to win, and I do believe SP3, he is going to win with the concerto. Yeah, I'm known for making bold predictions on this show. I ain't ready to dive into that bold.
No, I think Jungle Boy needs it. I think Jungle Boy's going to take it. I think he's going to step up and make that happen. But yeah, I thought you were going the other way, Rick, and I was going to say something.
No, I also just misspeak a lot on this show, but I
think your eye is messing with your brain.
Well, I do have one contact in right now, and only one, so I'm half blind, and also so it's a whole thing right now. I'm gonna have a migraine by the end of the show. Our next matchup is going to feature Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks. No man has jumped through more hoops to get a rematch with a man that he has already beaten than Ricky Starks, but he got his rematch. He goaded Chris Jericho into this match, and more importantly, he goaded Chris Jericho into agreeing to having the Jericho Appreciation Society, specifically JAS, banned from this matchup. But SP3, could we be seeing some larger outside interference? Maybe some big outside interference? That seems to be the running theory and the rumor mill out there, thanks to some recent trademark filings and things of that nature. Could Ricky Starks have more than just a one-on-one that he apparently signed on for?
I really want Ricky Starks to win this match. I really do. I think that he needs to win this match and get as far away from the Jericho verse as possible, because he deserves to be. He needs to be outside of that. He needs to be upward on the card. I think this was a good idea, but they kind of did this the wrong way. I think Jericho should have won the first matchup, and then it would have made more sense for Ricky to go after him a little bit more. Yeah. But all that withstanding, Jericho's winning because Tall Paul will probably become a new member of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Paul.
Yeah, I think there's something to the trademark filings. Those always tend to be, a tip one way or the other, and the fact that they're looking at, I believe it was Jericho, right, that they filed the trademark for. So I think they did that for a reason. I think we are going to get Don't Call Me Big Show, Paul White coming out, and he's going to knock out Ricky Starks in a match that he had won. So you're going to protect Ricky there a little bit. But, man, one way or the other, I agree with you. Ricky needs to get as far away from JAS as soon as this is over. It seems like every feud that Jericho gets in just goes on a little too long. Needs to be a clean cut no matter what happens this Sunday. But I do think that Big Show is going to get involved. Paul White's going to get involved, and he is going to cost Ricky Starks the match. Emily, where are you at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I agree with all of your points that, we could all, I like how they put that stipulation that the Jericho Appreciation Society is like banned from ringside. I think that's putting kind of pressure on Ricky Starks to really kind of break away, like you said, break away from Jericho, break away from that past. And I do think that there are rumblings of something else happening. I feel like this might not be a clean finish. I feel like this might not be a clean ending to this match. I think Ricky might win, but I think there is going to be more to it. Just kind of how things have been kind of surfacing and little clues here and there. I think you're right that there is something that we're not expecting that might happen for this match. You okay, Rick?
I just want Ricky to win this. Like, I just want Ricky to win this match. Like, Ricky needs to come out on top in this feud and move on to bigger and better things. And I hopefully Tony's got some big things in the works for him because he's just so damn good.
You have to build, like, even though if he wins this match, he has to build to another feud and another moment and another match down the line. And so that is where I think something might happen where it has to build to the next moment. So I think he can, if he gets this win, he can enjoy it, but it's not over yet. So I think there might, you have to think ahead and make sure that you're always looking for the next feud, the next battle, the next win.
Give me Ricky versus Christian Cage. Give me that. I'm all for that. Christian could do his research on Ricky's parents. And he could cut promos on Ricky's parents and give me that. That's the feud.
You could sign me up for those promo exchanges for sure. This one has banger written all over it. It is for the AEW World Trios Championships, the Elite defending their titles against the House of Black. SP3, this is a match that you have wanted for a very, very long time. It finally happens this Sunday. How you see it going down?
And, I wish I could tell you all about the build-up, but, I don't have 10 seconds to describe what they did for this build-up. I wish there was a build-up for this matchup because I would be so much more excited for this. But in the ring, all these guys are tremendous. I think this is going to be arguably the match of the night as far as in-ring work. I had the Elite winning, and I think the House of Black attacked them after the match. Hopefully, this is the start of the feud and not the end of it. Mm-hmm. Emily, what about you?
Well, I mean, I think you're right here. We're not like we're all going to be winners here watching this match because all of each and every one of these wrestlers are going to put on a banger of a match, right? So like we're not really losing in any way. Obviously, there has to be a team that loses, but I honestly think I think the Elite are going to retain. I don't think there's going to be, a changeover. But I think with these trios titles, I think there's this ability for it to shift hands more and have more flexibility in where this title goes and how it changes hands and how they build those stories. And I know you talked a little bit about like the small amount of build up to this, but I think they didn't need to because this was like we knew that this was going to be an incredible match and will be. So it's like we all are we're like everyone's in it already and for it. So it just feels like it stands on its own and the reasoning behind it.
Now, this is a match that, man, it's hard to think. Like thinking back to last year at Revolution, right? Like you had House of Black, who was on like the pre-show or the buy-in, whatever they called it, and they were facing Pac and Penta and Eric Redbeard, and they ended up winning that match. And this is something that they have like really, really been building to, finally giving them this opportunity. And I know there are going to be those people out there who think that maybe potentially Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks contract situation might play into this, and there might be a title change because of that. I still think there's plenty of time left on their contracts, even though they haven't signed new deals, before that becomes a factor in any kind of booking decisions. But for the sake of being bold, I don't know. My gut tells me House of Black wins. I don't know why. I don't know how. I think there's going to be some bullshit at the end to continue the feud. I think it makes more sense to continue this. You talk about people needing wins. House of Black needs this. They need this win badly.
There's always shenanigans. Do you think there's going to be shenanigans in every match? I feel like there's going to be shenanigans. Shenanigans. Just say that word. Shenanigans.
Everybody's calling shenanigans. It's AEW Revolution of Shenanigans.
I was gonna say that should just be the title of the next like Ring of Honor pay-per-view or something. Is shenanigans. But yeah, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of situations. It's almost gonna be like Triple H is booking the endings to all of these matches, because I do feel like there's gonna be some bullshit involved with a few of them. But just to be bold and to be different, I got House of Black winning it. I think they need it. It seems like they more often than not tend to come out on the losing side of every feud that they enter to. So if you want to continue this for a while, I think the Elite will work better in the chase as opposed to House of Black. I would love to see, look, I want this to be a banger, right? But I would not mind if this is a banger where House of Black like controls 75% of it, and they just kick the shit out of the Elite to impose themselves as a legitimate threat in AEW. I think that is the way to go. So that's what I'm going to talk myself into going with here. Is I'm going to go with the House of Black.
I like it. You might be converting me to your prediction.
Oh, there we go.
I kind of like that. So
why not? It's not like we haven't played hot potato with titles before in AEW. So let's do it with these trios belts. Why the hell not?
I mean, it could be fun. Do it like the 24/7 title, where every day you never know.
Let's not go that far. But hey, at least the Elite would lose them in a match this time, right? Like, so that's a step in the right direction for them. On top of the trios titles, we have a tag team title match. The AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Guns, going to be defending in a fatal four-way match. I can already see SP3's facial expressions against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, the Acclaimed, and Orange Cassidy and my man Danhausen.
My favorite.
SP3. I'm just going to let you off the leash here. Your thoughts on the state of the AEW tag team division and this
SP3, go wild.
This fatal four-way match we got set up here.
I feel like I have three children. I have my twins, Sydney and Harlem, and then I have the AEW tag team division. And I don't know what happened at 4 years old. What happened to my little child? But my little child is out here smoking cigarettes on the corner wearing a short skirt. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know what happened. What happened to the Revolution tag team title? Do you realize, Emily and Rick, 3 years ago, we had the greatest tag team match, arguably of all time. Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks. 2 years ago, we had arguably the best match on that show was the Young Bucks versus MJF and Chris Jericho. 1 year ago, we had the Young Bucks versus Red Dragon versus Jurassic Express, a great matchup. How did we get here? How did we get here? To Austin and Colton Gunn. I like them. But ever since they won the tag team titles, I don't know what happened to AEW. It's just like AEW is not the same child that I remember it as ever since they won the tag team titles. The Acclaimed is great. They're still over. Team TNA has overachieved as a tag team. Jeff Jarrett is great in 2023. I never thought I would say that. Jay Lethal is great with him. Orange Cassidy and Danhausen and Orangehausen, they're really great together, and I love them as a tag team. But this is not. This is not the same division that I remember it as. For all this, I am going to say the Guns win. The Guns win. Keep the reign going. The Guns win.
That seems to be the consensus of the
Yeah,
chat
I
so
think-
far. The Guns
I think
retain.
so. I think the Guns are going to retain. I mean, this is such a mixed like group of tag teams here. You could just have such a mix of feuds and history and rivalries, and I do feel like we kind of have like a mixed bag of things happening here that I really think the Guns are going to retain, but I think it's going to be pretty messy, and I think it's going to come down to two teams that are going to kind of really duke it out.
I don't think the story is over for the Acclaimed as they're chasing to get their tag team titles back. I think the Guns and the Acclaimed.
That's the story here. That's
yeah. And then we just got two randos like just added on the end of this. I mean, SP3 and I were talking on Tuesday about, well, are we going to get Sting and Darby Allin? Back in here to throw some heat back into this tag team division. Could FTR be showing up? Could they swerve us with all this? And it's like, wait, no, we didn't have any jokers in that Casino Battle Royale, and we just got Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, and we got them for a reason, is because Danhausen is losing this match. Danhausen is losing this match. I think that the Acclaimed are going to have Danhausen dead to rights. The Guns will then clean up house, chuck them out of the ring, and take advantage of their work, and they will pin Danhausen to retain the AEW tag team titles, and then we can continue and move forward with the Acclaimed and with the Guns as the chase.
I mean, this really is a story between the Guns and the Acclaimed, and I think Danhausen, like you said, is going to be probably the casualty of it all. We all the AEW world loves him, but I think really it's a story between those two teams, and we'll see. That's really what we need to focus on.
SP3, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of this NXT tag team title match that we had a few weeks back, where they built up the storyline between New Day and Pretty Deadly, and then they put these other two teams in there, and playing the role of Chase U is going to be Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, and then Gallus won the fucking tag team match. So does that mean that Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett are going to win the tag team titles on Sunday?
Man, I said it to you before we went live, and I'll say it again here, that if you were to go back to the January 4th episode of Dynamite, when they did the Dusty finish for Team TNA beating the Acclaim, if you were going to have to take the titles off of the Acclaim, wouldn't you much rather have all the heat that Team TNA got compared to the silence that we got when the Guns won? Team TNA should be our tag team champions. Give it to Triple J. Come on. I'm here for Jeff Jarrett.
We need to build the heat, and it could be a surprising win, and then everyone's just mad. It could happen. And then you're just building another big rematch or a big confrontation later. And I mean, it could just be a swerve where you just are completely like thrown off and like not even seeing it coming. And that's my other prediction, that might happen on this match too.
I was going to say, could you imagine the nuclear level heat? I said Danhausen's in there to lose. Could you imagine if Danhausen has the match won and then he gets screwed over by Jeff Jarrett or Jay Lethal? And I think it would have to be Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett winning. He won the battle.
He hits him with the guitar. He hits him with the guitar. 1, 2, 3. Because I don't know if you guys realize this, Rick, Emily, but Jeff Jarrett spends his day working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning real slow. And he can't wait to be alone with his baby tonight. And if he gets alone with his baby, the AEW World Tag Team titles, they'll be off cigarettes, off that corner, and they'll be back on the right track.
So that said, we're all going with the Guns?
I'm changing my pick. I'm going with Team TNA. Team TNA for the win. I've convinced myself.
I love it when I can change people's minds. That's
just man, we're flip-flopping all day here.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Stephen Chambers saying Orange will need another back. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room.
Those JanSports, man. I used to fit like 3-4 textbooks in there.
Oh man,
yeah, that's the Jan. He comes out with the JanSport.
Yeah, what was your JanSport color? I had bright pink.
I had blue. Blue is my favorite color, so I had
like
blue.
navy blue or the bright teal?
Navy blue, always, because they went with my uniform, because I went to Catholic school, so it went very nice with my uniform. So
Nice, matchy.
I went with black. I'm just a simpleton when it comes to fun fact though. I don't know why I still have it, but I do. You know how when you like get to 5th grade and they give you like your first ever lock for your locker? I don't know if your guys' schools did that.
yes.
Yeah.
I still have mine. It still works. I had it my entire grade school, high school career, and I still remember the combination. It is the dumbest thing that I have in my life, but
I don't remember any of the combinations from any lock I've ever had.
Like one of my weird, I'm gonna like kind of go off on a trail here. One of the weirdest dreams, like a random reoccurring dream I have, is I'm trying to get into my high school locker, and the combination is not working in my dream. And then literally all my stuff is still there. Like I go back to the like in current modern day, and I go back and my stuff is still there, but it's like all messed up. It's a weird dream. I don't know what it means.
I could spend the next 25 minutes. I could spend the next 25 minutes talking about weird reoccurring dreams of my own. But we got 4 more matches to dive into here. We are halfway home. SP3, you were talking about Jeff Jarrett getting his baby back. Wardlow, I feel like this is the theme of the show so far. We're talking about dudes who need wins. Wardlow needs this win badly. He needs to get his TNT championship back. I love Samoa Joe. I love the King of Television. I think he's going to be a great addition as like a full-time member on the Ring of Honor show as the Ring of Honor TV champ. But this has got to be Wardlow's night on Sunday. He's got to win the belt back. This guy, when he lost, he got embarrassed. He lost his championship. He lost his hair. He got written off of television for weeks. We later found out it's because he got hurt. And I'm like, okay, thankfully there was a reason for that, because all of that was very confusing to me. This is a guy who was white hot when he won that TNT championship. And then for some ungodly reason, he kind of got parked doing some other stuff. And then he drops the belt. It's time to get this man fired back up. I think he needs to win. I think he will win. What says you, SP3?
Yeah, I think Wardlow, out of everybody that we're going to talk about with this card, he needs the win more than anyone. And especially after, the sit-down interview with Jim Ross, which I thought was one of his best work that he's done since the MJF feud last spring, and talking about how his hair was a representation of his connection to his father. You can't do all that promo work and not have him win here. The only issue I have with him winning, like I said, I think he needs to win, is that I also think Powerhouse Hobbs needs to win, and they're having their match on Wednesday. So is he going to have a 3-4 day reign? Are we going to keep the title on Joe just for him to lose to Powerhouse Hobbs? That's where the only question mark would be. So I'm not as confident as my other predictions, but I'll go with Wardlow here.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Wardlow as well, because again, it's one of those things that like ROH is coming back. It's getting bigger and better. Like Samoa Joe is going to have to focus on that. And I think Wardlow needs this. And I think this is the comeback he needs. He lost his hair. There's such an emotional connection that he had with his father with that loss of that hair. And this could be a really emotional, powerful moment for him if he gets this win. And I think he needs it. And I think Samoa Joe, I love, like Rick, I'm with you. I love Samoa Joe. I want to give him, all of his flowers and all the titles that we can. But I think in this moment, I think Wardlow needs it.
I think Wardlow needs it. I think he's going to get it. Yeah, the Hobbs thing though, man, that's tough, because I agree with you, SP3. Like,
yeah,
what they already said? Like this match is like next week, right? Like that. Did we really need to have this match next week? Like, could we not have put this off just a little bit longer down the field? Like Hobbs and Wardlow, that's a Big E special. That's big meaty men bumping meat. Like, let's build up to that. Let's build the suspense. Like, you're already giving us like one Big E special on Sunday, and now you're going to give us another. That's a lot of beef. That's a lot of meat for 1 week. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a little bit of a build for that. Let's see. Antone saying that Joe needs to keep the belt till Miro comes back. Listen, I appreciate.
We're just making the TNT title the sirloin beef division. Sirloin beef all the meat in there.
And it has some sizzle.
Damn right.
Salt Bay.
The problem is, if Joe's going to keep that belt until Miro comes back, he may have it till next Christmas, because I'm not going to believe that Miro's stepping back in the ring until he's actually there. In fact, I believe we got an update from Fightful on Miro, and there really haven't been no movement one way or the other about Miro coming back, which sucks because Miro's fucking awesome, and I want him back on my television screen. We got Cincinnati's favorite son, Jon Moxley, going up against Hangman Adam Page, Texas Death Match. SP3, before I ask you how you think this goes, over or under 3.5 minutes before Jon Moxley is bleeding in this match?
Over. He's going to make it 5 minutes on the dot, and then he's going to be busted open
The whole time.
the entire time, and he's going to go another 20 minutes.
I'm going to say 7 minutes in.
That's I like the over under here. Where are you going, Rick? What minute mark?
I'm going well under. It may be under a minute.
He's gonna walk out bleeding. Just walk out bleeding. Just get it over with.
I think these guys want to beat.
He's still bleeding from 2 weeks ago. He's still going to be bleeding from 2 weeks ago.
These guys are going to come in hot and heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if they literally just started this like two wild rams and literally just bust heads with one another, and then they both just start gushing blood from the get-go.
Yeah, they like start with a hold, and then literally the hold is them just smashing their heads together.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Oh.
That's
I can see it. I can see it.
I like it.
I'm excited because this is a Texas death match. Like, this is legit, and we know Jon Moxley can deliver. But this is a chance for Adam Page to step up his game. He's obviously gonna have to step up the violence, has to match Jon Moxley's violence, and he has to really hone in. And this feud has been just so brutal, and I'm ready for it. I love this. I love these types of matches. I like the grit. I like the brutality of it, and I'm all for it. And I think we're gonna see some really, really just intense moments, as always with Jon Moxley. But I think Adam Page is gonna bring it to another level, and we're gonna be surprised by what he brings.
Yeah.
So Emily is right, because I did the equation, guys. You were talking about a Texas death match. I did Texas death math. In July 2021, Lance Archer defeated Jon Moxley in a Texas death match to win the IWGP United States Championship. In February 2022, Hangman Adam Page defeated Lance Archer in a Texas death match to retain the AEW World Championship. Therefore, Hangman Adam Page should beat Jon Moxley in a Texas death match at Revolution.
The pattern is there.
Texas death math. Hangman Adam Page wins.
That seems to be the consensus in the chat here. Frantic saying that Page should win. Hangman wins. Ref will stop the match due to Mox's massive blood loss. Mox will then finally take his damn vacation. Jon Moxley, if anybody deserves a vacation, it's Jon Moxley. But there is part of me, though, that really wants to see Hangman lose this match and then get interviewed backstage by Renee. Like, there's just part of me, like, immediately after that.
That's just cruel. That is just cruel.
I just want Hangman to go again. Why does it always have to be you? Like, I really just want to see him dive into that. But no, I think this is a match that could go either way. Typically, we don't see Moxley come out on the back end of his losses, of his feuds. He's usually the one that always comes out ahead.
Mm-hmm.
He lost to CM Punk. He ultimately lost to MJF. Are they about to hand him his third straight? I think so. I think Hangman Adam Page gets the win. Now, we got 2 world title matches. We have a triple threat for the AEW Women's World Championship. Saraya going for her first world title in 9 years. She's going to be going up against Jamie Hayter and Ruby Soho. And SP3, I love Ruby, just like I love Danhausen. But I think she is in this match to lose, and it's to protect either Saraya or Jamie Hayter. Because either Saraya wins the belt over Ruby and protects Jamie that way, or Saraya can continue her rivalry with Jamie saying, hey, look, you didn't beat me. Which way is it going to go?
I got Jamie Hayter getting the win here. I think Jamie Hayter has been on fire since winning the AEW Women's World Championship. I think that she does pin Ruby Soho to get the win, because then Ruby will be forced to join the AEW Outsiders, because that's what Saraya and Toni Storm need. They need someone else to join their group, because it doesn't make sense how they're a threat when it's like 2 against all 12 and 13, 14 rest of the division. They need more people on their side, and I think Ruby taking the fall here will be the catalyst for that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree on that. I mean, I have mixed feelings that Saraya might be a little bit, I'm leaning towards her potentially being close to getting the title this weekend, but Jamie Hayter is a AEW favorite. She's had an incredible reign. And so that's why I'm like, so Jamie might retain. And I like this idea, the fact that Ruby takes the pin, takes the loss, and that's going to build up some aggravation, build up some frustration, and then alliances are formed. And then you build some more feuds and some more kind of bad blood. I could see that happening.
Something just popped into my head here, SP3, because you're talking about having Ruby join up with, the AEW Outsiders. Man, what if this is all set up? Like, what if we get some kind of like NWO style setup where it's really a 2-on-1 attack on Jamie Hayter, and then you get Toni on the outside who neutralizes Dr. Britt Baker, and they set this up to where Saraya gets her like Hollywood Hulk Hogan type title win, and they literally like spray paint the women's title belt at the end of this. I'm not saying that's what they should do, but there would be some nuclear heat on that if they just completely wiped out Dr. Britt and Jamie Hayter and stole the championship.
So in my creative fantasy booking, Saraya is Scott Hall. Toni Storm is Kevin Nash. Ruby Soho would be 6. We need a Hollywood Hulk Hogan who has blonde hair, very muscular, and is a fan, is a favorite of the AEW crowd that can turn. Jade Cargill is going to be Hollywood Jade Cargill, and she considers herself an outsider too, even though she's homegrown. She considers herself an outsider because she's never been welcomed in. She's never been able to feud with the other ladies. She has the challenger of the month for the TBS championship, and this is going to be Jade Cargill's entryway into the upper echelon of the women's division, where she's Hollywood Jade Cargill.
I don't hate it. I really don't.
Wow, you guys are like really, really going for it there.
This is what we do. Here on Bleav. Now, what do I think is actually going to happen? Jamie Hayter's going to win by pinning Ruby Soho. I think it's going to be simple as that. But man, there's part of me that would like some kind of a weird situation where you just get the nuclear level heat.
More shenanigans.
More bullshit. But hey, it's a triple threat. Shenanigans are allowed in a triple threat. We appreciate everybody who's tuning in so far here on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast on our AEW Revolution show. Ricky Chino, SP3, and Emily May. We got one more match to break down. If you guys have liked the show, make sure to hammer that thumbs up button. Really helps drive up our audience. If you're new to the program and you like what you hear, you can tune into myself and SP3 every Tuesday live, 2:15 Eastern Standard Time, as we break down all the big stories in professional wrestling. We got exclusive interviews, and I'm still working on some side features as well. So make sure to hit that subscribe button as we continue to inch our way up to 1,000. We really appreciate all the support. All right. The main course. The 60-minute Ironman match for the AEW World Championship. MJF, the Triple B, on the line against Bryan Danielson. SP3, this is a rivalry that has gotten very, very personal. We have had multiple, not a shock, but we have had multiple just 5-star promos from MJF, just breaking down every different reason why he hates Bryan Danielson, from the loving family to the support that he gets to, his accolades in the ring. He hates everything that Bryan Danielson is. Even went as far to say is like, you spit on my industry by being here with all these concussions that you've had. He just has laid out every single thing that he hates about Bryan Danielson with these Joker-esque, how did I get these scars type promos. Is he being truthful? Is he not? Who the fuck knows? But it's been a great build. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the championship. That's the bottom line here. And Bryan Danielson emphatically said he's going to kick MJF's fucking head in on Sunday. This is MJF's match to prove that he can hang, that he can go, that he is as good as he says he is. This is the true Iron Man, Bryan Danielson. This guy can go 60 minutes and not even break a fucking sweat. We've seen him do it before. Can MJF do it? He's been getting in shape for it, but getting in shape and actually doing it are two different things. SP3, how you see this one going down?
I first want to say this has been the best build-up for an AEW pay-per-view main event since Full Gear 2021 with Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, because this whole build-up has had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It all started after Full Gear with MJF turning his back on William Regal, the mentor of Bryan Danielson, hitting him in the back of the head with the brass knuckles. And then Bryan sat at a hospital for a few weeks with William Regal, returns after MJF beats Ricky Starks for the AEW World Championship, says he wants MJF. MJF puts him through the gauntlet, says you have to win 5 weeks in a row. Then Bryan says, okay, I'll do that, but I want a 60-minute Ironman match. We get Bryan versus Konosuke Takeshita, Bryan versus Bandito versus Brian Cage versus Timothy Thatcher versus Roosh in one of the best AEW Dynamite matches that I remember in recent history. And then all the while we get MJF with these fabulous promos about getting roadhead and framing his ex-girlfriend and the love of his life that he wanted to have a family with. Her broke his heart. So he hates Bryan Danielson because he had seizures and concussions. So every time he steps in the ring, he is putting wrestling, prioritizing wrestling over his family, the thing that MJF wants the most. And then you get Bryan, who just broke down his whole career on Wednesday, said that MJF, you have a silver spoon in your mouth. Well, I fought poverty. I fought depression. I fought retirement. I fought head injuries, shoulder injuries, the authority. He said, I had a job that I could have stayed for the rest of my life, well paid. I came here to fight, and you better get ready to fight, or I'm going to kick your fucking head in. He said the line. He said the line. That popped me so good. He said the line.
I think you're doing an MJF promo right now.
I've loved this. I've loved this build. All the while, I've known from the beginning, MJF wins, LOL. Yeah. But it's the road to how we get there. And if they can have people entertained for all 60 minutes, because everybody always wants to bring up the Ironman match back at WrestleMania 12. And for a long time, that was probably my favorite match of ever. I remember being 8 years old, being a huge Shawn Michaels fan, being a huge Bret Hart fan, and seeing those guys wrestle for 60 minutes. That's what I always wanted. And when I got it, I was so satisfied. And then I watched it 2 years ago as an adult, and I realized that it's 40 minutes of headlocks. And that was not very entertaining. And I realized those fans in Anaheim fell asleep, and I saw some of them leaving during the matchup. So what we got to do is avoid that, because they're going on after a bloody Texas Death match, after the Elite and House of Black have a crazy trios match, a no holds barred match, a triple threat, a 4-way. They have a lot that this is the most important match of MJF's career as well. So this is a big time matchup. I think MJF wins 3 falls to 2, with the last fall coming in the final 5 minutes. He hits him with the brass knuckles and then puts him in the Regal stretch for the win.
I had a very similar ending, but my score was actually 0-0 until
no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That was Sean and Brett's mistake. Don't do that.
I mean, I'm with you, SP3. Like, this is going to be MJF's night. He has to retain. And again, it's Danielson. Like, you're going against the best of the best, right? And you're right. Those promos and the buildup has been the best I've seen in years across wrestling promotions. Like, we're invested. MJF is one of the best modern people on the mic, like in current wrestling, is one of the best people to get heat, to get people to love you at the exact same time. And it's like classic, like this is like, he's like an old soul or something, because he has some old like wrestlers in him that's like bringing this stuff out. And this is going to be something that, and I think we should be a little worried, because it's 60 minutes. There's going to be a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of moves. It's going to ebb and flow. And we just have to take the moments in, like kind of appreciate the silences, right? Because I think there's going to be more storytelling and more moments told in the moments where there's pauses, and them looking at each other deep in the eye, knowing that this is a huge risk for both of them. It's the stakes are high for both of them, and it's just, there's a lot riding on this for both of them, and we can feel it through the buildup, the personal promos, attacking each other's livelihood. This is a big deal, and I do think that MJF is going to come on top, and this will be the match that will solidify his career.
Yeah.
And this will make it. This will make his career.
This is absolutely his shot. Like I said, this is his chance to prove that he is as good as he says he is. I do think MJF wins. I'm still going to go with 1-0. I think MJF wins 1-0. But I could be completely wrong. That's just what I think is going to happen, not necessarily what I would book SP3.
Dear Lord, do not do that. Do not listen to Rick Ucchino. Max, Brian, I beg of you, do not. Brian, don't make the same mistake your trainer did. Don't make the same mistake your trainer did.
Steven Chambers,
keep people entertained for 50 minutes with it being 0-0. And MJF's going to get himself disqualified. Stop it, Rick.
Yeah,
Stop.
at some point. Like I said, it's not what I would do. I feel like it. If MJF retains, what is next for Danielson SP3? This could be another rough night for the Blackpool Combat Club. Maybe continues their downward spiral towards an overall heel turn. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Moxley's loss is going to force them to go lean more into their heel side. And Bryan Danielson never wanted to go down that babyface tunnel, so I think he would be down to be heel with them. And then we can get a 4-on-4, the heel Blackpool Combat Club versus the reunited Elite. Give me that at Double or Nothing.
I'll take it. Emily, this has been an absolute pleasure. Where can people find your stuff? Yeah, full promo for whatever you got going on right now.
Yeah, so I have tons of wrestling stuff. I have tons of cooking shows. I have tons of content coming out, and you can follow me on all social platforms at Emily May Heller. And if you're in Philly or DC, we have New Japan coming there in April. I think it's April 15th and 16th. So if you're in that area, go get your tickets, go check it out, and it's going to be exciting.
Awesome. SP3, what you got going on in the True Heel Heat YouTube channel this weekend?
Well, we just had our AEW Revolution preview over there with myself, Romeo, and Joe Horbert of the Late Night Grin. I'll be live tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, True Hill Heat 215, with Miss Chrissy Love and special guest Professor Nick Harrison, talking about this week in professional wrestling. Vince McMahon back on creative, Kenny Omega possibly leaving AEW for WWE, and of course, final predictions for Revolution. So check us out tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, True Hill Heat YouTube channel.
All right, fantastic. Appreciate you guys who tuned in today. Again, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the program, hit the subscribe button as well. Dropped an interview with Mia Yim earlier this week. Go up there and check that out right now. That is live, plus a lot of other interviews that I did Royal Rumble weekend. Those are available as we speak, and I got plenty more coming up down the pipe.
And I want to thank Emily personally for being on here, and thank her for conducting the press conference at Battle in the Valley, where Eddie Kingston cut the most New York promo I've ever heard in my life, because she was great with her facial expressions and everything. So I'm glad that we were able to share the camera here.
Yeah, he was very adamant about speaking at that press conference. So when the king says he wants to talk, you let him talk.
No doubt about it. All right, guys, have a great weekend. We got AEW Revolution this Sunday. SP3 and myself will be back Tuesday, 2:15, to talk about all of the fallout. Hopefully it's a really calm, easy, nice post-scrum and everything goes swimmingly. All right, we'll be back next here on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. We have been brought to you by Bet Online.